guys. Happy Friday. I'm super excited to have a 3-day weekend. This week has been very long, and state testing has thrown me off of my schedule because the entire day just gets switched around. So I have my morning classes in the afternoon and 3 hours to kill in the morning. It's ridiculous. Anyway, so first up, we're going to do Dogman. And then I have a bonus cryptid, and I'm going to say the name wrong. So apologies if anyone knows how to actually pronounce it. And then I'm going to tell you my announcement. And I know last episode I said I wasn't going to tell you till the day of, but then I changed my mind because I thought about it and I was like, that's really stupid. So I'm going to tell you at the end of this episode what the announcement is that I'm so excited for. So, without further ado, we have Dogman as promised. So, I have some information. I apologize if it's everywhere. It's hard to write things down and then keep it in like a specific order. So, we're just going to go down the list of my notes. First, originated in the late 1880s in Michigan. To commemorate the 100th anniversary of more serious Dogman reports of 1887, a radio DJ made an April Fool's joke. Or was it? Because of this, more sightings flooded in the modern day from residents across the region. There were several reports in Pennsylvania, mostly northwestern, and date as early as 1960. Sightings reported the Dogman being 7 feet tall standing or walking on hind legs and 3 to 4 feet at the shoulder when on all fours. Very muscular, weighing 400 to 500 pounds. Some claim it as entirely covered in hair. Others claim it to be a man with a wolf head. Dogman is reported to be more aggressive than other undiscovered creatures. Although, little side note, I watched this show. I think it's called These Woods Are Haunted or something. It was about being in the woods. I saw more people talk about Bigfoot than actual hauntings. And if this is the most aggressive thing or considered the most aggressive out of undiscovered creatures at this point, because I'll get to where Dogman is and its mannerism, aggression stuff. But damn, guys, Bigfoot hates everyone. And I can do a whole other episode on that. Anyway, off the sidebar, the Dogman is spotted regularly at large, freshly killed prey like deer and has a reputation for confronting and menacing humans who encounter it. In Michigan, reports of the creature go as far back as 1794, and there's a journal of a French trader, and he described it as a loup-garou. A loup-garou. I don't know how to pronounce that. It's French for werewolf. Again, I don't speak French, much like how I probably fucked up the last word in the last episode. I'm gonna mess this one up too. My apologies. I digress. Algonquin legend includes references to similar creatures. Linda Godfrey, who is a reporter, and as of 2015, because that's when this article was done, had or has become the leading investigator into Dogman reports. She has a book called The Beast of Bray Road, Tailing Wisconsin's Werewolf, and another book called Hunting the American Werewolf. Godfrey believes the reports that she tracked for her book, and she believes them to be authentic and credible. But the Dogman has also been the focus of several video hoaxes that have been encountered in very public settings. The Gable film surfaced in 2007, allegedly a digital copy of an 8mm film shot in the 1970s. The Gable film Part 2 claimed to document a police investigation into the attack. The Monster Quest crew from the History Channel had both videos analyzed and discovered anomalies, and in 2010 broadcast confessions of the hoaxers. But the hoaxers claimed the analysis was never necessary because they had revealed to the Monster Quest crew up front that the videos were in fact hoaxes. A photograph purportedly captured the Dogman in eastern Pennsylvania region. It was shared on various social media platforms and it went viral. This started discussions and speculations about authenticity and implications. Although it has blurry quality, enthusiasts believe it is one of the most distinct depictions of Dogman to date. So there's a picture, and it's blurry, but apparently it's a really good depiction of Dogman. Not saying Dogman's not real, but blurry pictures I'm a little skeptical of. The individual who shared the image emphasized its significance, citing its alignment with reported characteristics and anatomical details commonly associated with Dogman. Analysis conducted by experts and enthusiasts revealed compelling aspects that challenged initial doubts. Apparently, there must be some truth to this. There is intertwining with the historical accounts, such as the 1887 encounter in Wexford County, Michigan. Lumberjacks stumbled upon a wolf-like creature that, to their horror, transformed into a humanoid figure before their eyes. This tale is deeply rooted in folklore, but continues to captivate and leaves a mark on the region's history. A more modern encounter, like the 1987 incident at a remote cabin, adds to the mystery and intrigue. Investigators initially attributed the damage to a bear, but evidence suggested a large canine perpetrator that could stand upright. Wolfman or Bigfoot? That's the question for that one right there. Theories of ancient dire wolves to other cryptids began to spread throughout the communities. What can we make of these mysterious photographs and encounters? As debates go on, one thing is clear. The Dogman continues to fascinate, making us dive deeper into the unknown. Dogman is said to roam remote forests and rural landscapes. There are reports of pursuits and assaults on vehicles, individuals, and animals. It seems to have a preference for targeting children, often seen near schools, parks, and playgrounds. That's a little creepy and not in a spooky way. It is also known as the Bryn Athyn Beast because it gets its name from the small town where sightings have taken place originally. Small town of 1400, about 60 miles south of Allentown. It's known to not make noise when it walks. It disappears as if melting into the ether. He just turns into darkness and is absorbed by the darkness. One paranormal investigator claims the beast may be using portals to travel between locations. The other question is, aren't they just werewolves? Not really. They appear similar, but most attacks happen during the day. But so far, everyone has survived those attacks. A written confession was submitted to the Confessionals podcast, and this man had 2 encounters. And he said that he is in eastern Pennsylvania, I believe. I should have written that down. I didn't. That's on me. But I believe he said eastern Pennsylvania. And the first story he had was when he was younger and he was visiting his grandmother. All of a sudden, they see this thing and she starts to swing her broom at it and spoke in her native language. And he said that was not like her. She never spoke her native language to them. She always spoke in English. So the fact that she is swinging a broom at this thing and speaking her native language, he knew something was happening. Eventually, it scared the dog man away. In his late 20s, he was pheasant hunting and he got a couple of other animals, and he was with his 2 dogs. He got confused because as he was bagging the pheasants, his dogs began to cower behind him, and this was not like the dogs at all. Those dogs were not scared of anything. And so the fact that they were terrified during this, he knew something was wrong. He couldn't see much, but he saw the ears. The thing was hiding behind the thicket of red brush. He loaded his 12 gauge, but only had 3 rounds. They got out of the forest and back to the truck as quickly as possible. Unfortunately, this was actually all the information that I could get off of the internet about Dogman. A lot of it was just repeat, but I feel like that's enough information for me because it sounds terrifying and I don't want to encounter this thing. I am still more afraid of mimics though, and I can do an episode on those, but I'm honestly now terrified of the forest. Not gonna lie. So now we are going to move on to cryptid number 2. I'm gonna fuck up this name too. Jabba Fofi. I feel like it's one of those, but I'm not African, so I'm sorry that I most likely butchered this name. Anyway, it's also known as Congolese giant spiders. I didn't know. I should have known, but I never thought about it. Africa having giant, scary spider. And looking at a picture of it, it reminds me of the camel spiders that the soldiers had to check for every night in the Middle East. It's freaking terrifying. I also really hate spiders. I mean, I don't hate them. I can deal with the tiny ones, but like giant spiders, I'm good. I'm out if I see a giant spider. Took me forever to get over my tiny spider phobia. Giant, that's never going to go away. So these giant spiders are said to inhabit the forests of the Congo, possibly representing a new kind of arachnid. I also want to point out real quick that I have found only like two things on this spider that is not a video that is most likely a hoax, joke, or whatever. So they're similar, but they're different. And I'm going to give you both versions of these spiders. But that first part is all pretty much what they both say. So the first thing says that they dig shallow tunnels under tree roots and camouflaging it with large leaves. It can create an almost invisible web between their burrow and a nearby tree, stringing the whole area with a network of trip lines. A spider with trip lines. And I thought they couldn't get any scarier. An animal will trip the line will alert the spider, and then the spider will chase that animal into the web. Then that's bye-bye animal, spider dinner. The behavior is like that of a trapdoor spider, and the natives claim the eggs are pale yellow-white and shaped like peanuts. Hatchlings are bright yellow with a purple abdomen. Color becomes darker and brown as they mature. Some of the indigenous people to the regions in the Congo, where Jaba Fofi, again I'm fucking it up, has been seen to assert that the spider was once common and is now very rare. According to cryptozoologist George Eberhardt, he says R.K. Lloyd and his wife were motoring through a region of the jungle in what is now called Belgian Congo in 1938 when they saw a large object crossing the trail in front of them. At first they thought it was a cat or a monkey, but they soon realized it was a spider with legs nearly 3 feet long. That's as long as my cat. I'm good. Note to self, don't visit the jungle in Congo. In March of 2013, a video on YouTube of an alleged giant spider caught on a night vision camera near a water bowl in Mozambique. It appears out of the darkness on the far right of the screen. Natives claim the spiders were once numerous, and this is when we get into the next article. Natives claim the spiders were once numerous. Encroachment by civilization in the form of rainforests being converted to farmland may have run the spiders away from their natural habitats. This article describes the spiders as giant and venomous, and they can grow up to the size of a house. My house isn't that big, but that's a really fucking big spider. But also, my question is, if these spiders can grow to be as tall as a house, why haven't they taken over the world? Maybe I shouldn't have asked that question, but literally, if there were spiders as big as a house, I feel like they would have taken over the world. Does anyone see that movie where the spiders take over the world? They're not giant, but they took over. Stephen King, Sleeping Beauties. I don't think those were spiders, but they were still in webs. Just saying. They are known to prey on big animals such as deer, birds, and would not be above eating humans. It is said that it dragged a dog off from a village. This spider can do that. It's also said to be golden when young and brown when they're older. So as you can see, that is two different descriptions of the young. Which one is the actual description? I don't know. This is when I'm going to get into the sightings of this giant spider. I am not trying to say that name again. So here we go. The earliest found so far, 1890s, Uganda. A missionary with a name that I'm not going to try to pronounce was trekking through the jungle with his companions when two of his friends became entangled in giant webs over the path. And before he could save them, two gigantic arachnids ran out of the jungle and killed his friends. Talk about some PTSD. In 1938, in the Congo, this is again the Lloyds. They were driving through a game trail. They came upon what they believed was a monkey or large cat, but they saw it had 8 legs, upon which, to their amazement and horror, the spider scuttled off into the bush, as spiders do. 1942, in New Guinea, an Australian soldier said he had encountered a 10-foot web inhabited by a dog-sized spider, and it was hairy and venomous. 1948, Louisiana. The Sladens were going to a night church service when halfway down the road, he told them to stop. What came out of the bushes was a gigantic tub-sized black hairy spider. It disappeared into the bushes. The father, William, acted like he had seen them before and it wasn't uncommon. He was like, "Oh yeah, giant spider, whatever. I'm sorry, what? We're just gonna look at the giant spider and be like, that's normal." That's not normal. Not in America. 1970s. Belgian officer Remy Jansen was fleeing from slave gangs in the jungles in the Vietnam War when his men were all but slaughtered by hundreds of giant hairy spiders, which ambushed him and his men in the jungle interior. Fortunately, Remy and another man managed to survive, but had to abandon the other soldiers to their deaths. 2001, Cameroon. A Baka tribesman told a scientist, William Gibbons, that the giant spider had built its nest near their village. That must be in his book, because that gave me absolutely no information other than a tribesman claimed that there was a giant spider that built a nest outside their village. 2010, Dakota Black Hills. A group of people were driving through the hills when a spider about 10 feet across crawled over the road. The 3-foot was bad enough. 10 feet, on the other hand, hell no, I'll see you later. 2011, in the Amazon, Richard Terry, a filmmaker, went to South America to investigate giant spider sightings. He was told by the natives that they did have giant spiders in the forest, but they couldn't be reached. They were said to be 4 feet wide. To be real, though, rainforests of any kind, especially the Amazon rainforest, I truly believe that there are things in those forests that we do not know about. Those things have species of everything in them that we just can't get to, haven't seen, been eaten by, which is why we've never heard of them. Good for everyone who goes into the Amazon rainforest. That is not me. There are a few fake sightings. The Grand Canyon was said to have had a sighting of a gigantic house-sized tarantula, which scared tourists. Back in the 20s, some scouts were said to have been scared by a giant spider, which scuttled around their campfire. And in 2003, the Americans put up a picture of a camel spider, which was said to have been 10 foot wide, but then viewed later, it was said to have been 2 camel spiders mating. Lovely. And then their decline, according to the Baka, is because of the lack of prey and human deforestation. Like everything else. But we won't get into that because that's not what we're here for. That was pretty cool. I learned a lot. I learned too much about giant spiders. So thank you, whoever made that suggestion, because now I'm going to have nightmares for the rest of my life. Thank you. The things I do for listeners. I will look up paranormal for you. I will research it and read it so you don't have to, whether I'm disturbed or not. So, now that the episode has ended, I am going to tell you my exciting announcement. So, as many of you know, especially if you're on TikTok, but and I feel like I've mentioned it here before, especially in the first episode because I mentioned road trips. So, my husband and I are going on a road trip at the end of next month, which I'm super fucking excited for. And I got even more excited the other night because we are going to deviate because I love cheese, so I need to go to Wisconsin and get cheese. So we're gonna go through Montana and do like a little U shape in Wisconsin for cheese, and then go straight down into Iowa at an angle because they're like adjacent. The very, very bottom left-hand corner of Iowa to Villisca. What's in Villisca? I feel like many people know. I didn't up until like last year. But if you don't know what's in Villisca, Iowa, it is the Axe Murder House. We have the whole house to ourselves, and we're gonna go ghost hunting. My husband is a skeptic. I've been trying to make him a believer. He's supportive of me, but he also makes fun of me, but he's also supportive. We have a weird relationship when it comes to my beliefs, but he's always down to like be like, "All right, let's go. Prove me wrong." So I try. This time though, chef's kiss, I'm hoping it happens. Okay? I have been watching so many things on the Axe Murder House, and there were a lot of noises and a lot of scary things. I'm really excited for this. This is the first like true ghost hunting that I get to do. I have only been in a wooded cemetery area type thing, and we used our phones for the recordings, which we did get a couple recordings on our phones. And this is, mind you, this is back in 2013. So the phones weren't as good as they are now. That is over 10 years ago. And I can go into my experiences at a different time. But that is the only close-ish ghost hunting that I've ever been able to do. My best guy friend and I, he's basically my brother, we would go urban exploring, but we never actually like ghost hunted. I can feel things, so I could feel the energies in these places, but we didn't do any EVPs or anything. So I have gone all out for this. I found a camera that does night vision on Mercari for super cheap, and this thing was like sealed in box. So fingers crossed that it actually works. They said it was brand new. We will find out. So far, Mercari hasn't let me down, and this person had really good ratings. We'll see. I also have my new Canon camera that I will start using for vlogging and all of that and recording these sessions, but I would like to figure out how to set myself up so that way I can use that camera, because I think I'm comparing myself too much to the people who actually have like a studio space. Even if I could have a studio space, my house is way too fucking small. So I have to do with what I have, and that is basically my living room. So I will figure it out. I would really like to be able to do the next episode with a camera. We'll see. I also saved up for a spirit box, so I'm going to get that. I have my Polaroid camera. I've got microphones. We'll have some flashlights. I would like to go live at least on TikTok, but I don't know how possible that's going to be because my phone doesn't have night vision and there's no Wi-Fi. So I can't even connect my camera up to my phone for the Wi-Fi because Canon cameras do that now and it's freaking awesome. So I am going to have to figure that out. I might go live, but only until it gets dark. Unfortunately, due to not having Wi-Fi, we're kind of restricted to what we do and do not have electronically. The house has no plumbing, it has no electricity, none of that stuff. So we have to go into the gift shop to go to the bathroom. And all of our stuff is like going to be in like this tiny space in a barn. So we're going to do with what we have. We'll figure it out. But counting down, guys. On May 30th, we will be at the Axe Murder House in Villisca, Iowa. And I am super psyched. And I can't wait to bring you with me. We will see how all of this goes. If you don't hear from me, I had a heart attack and I died from fear. I'll be okay. I'm just kidding. Kind of. I'll be okay. It'll be fine. I'm a wimp, but I'm not. I don't really know how to explain it. I will have anxiety up until we get to the house and start ghost hunting, and then I'll be fine afterwards. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be okay. We'll be fine. I'll live. It's fine. Anyway, thank you for listening to me babble about my plans. So I'm going to sign off now. And if you go ghost hunting, don't forget the salt. We will not be allowed to have salt at the Velisca house, so please send me good vibes up through the 31st of May, so that way I may be able to defend myself against the ghosts and their bad energies. But if you're allowed, wherever you're ghost hunting, don't forget the salt. Never forget the salt. And as always, stay spooky, my friends.
Chasing Legends.